Hello friends and welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is our ongoing course in which we are going to discuss about the various salient features of the Indian Constitution. This is lesson number 1 of the course in which we will be discussing about the lengthiest written constitution. That means the Indian Constitution is one of the lengthiest written constitutions of the world. Then we'll see what are the various sources from which Indian Constitution is actually derived in a broad way. Then we'll discuss about the blend of rigidity and flexibility. That means the Indian Constitution is rigid as well as it is flexible. My name is Rohan Kumar Singh. So if you like this video, do hit the like button, and if you want to get more such videos on different educational topics, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So what is actually lengthiest written constitution? So we'll say that the Indian Constitution is the lengthiest written constitution of the world. So it is a type of classification of documented constitution which is also known as the written constitutions. Okay, so broadly, if we say about the documentation of different type of constitutions, it is broadly categorized into two parts. The first is the written constitution and the another is the unwritten constitution. So written constitutions are those constitutions which are well documented, just as the Constitution of America, Constitution of Canada and the Constitution of India. Whereas some of the countries, they don't have a proper documented constitution, just like England, Israel and New Zealand. So all these countries, they do not have a proper documented or written constitution. So the Constitution of India is the lengthiest of all the written constitutions of the world. So this is one thing. Now originally the Indian Constitution is having a preamble, 395 articles, which is divided into 22 parts, and there are 8 schedules. Now as of 2013, in our constitution there is a preamble, there is 465 articles which is divided into 25 parts, and there are 12 schedules. Okay, so sorry, so earlier it was 8 schedules, now we have 12 schedules. Now 4 factors that have contributed to the elephantine size of the constitution. So what is the reason behind the lengthiest and the elephantine size of the constitution? The first is the geographical factor. Okay, apart from geographical factor, we have a vast diversity in our country in terms of language, in terms of caste, in terms of religion, okay, in terms of culture, as well as in terms of the geography. So all these factors affected to the large size of the Indian Constitution. Now there are some historical factors like the Government of India Act of 1935. As I have already told you in one of my videos, that Government of India Act of 1935 affected the Indian Constitution in a much broader way. Most of the provision of this act had been involved directly or indirectly into the Constitution of India. Okay, the third factor is the single constitution for center and states. That means there is a single constitution for the center as well as for the states. There is no separate constitution for the states except Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir state is a exception for this particular point because it has its own constitution. Dominance of legal luminaries. So those persons who were involved in framing of the constitution, they are mostly from the background of law. Okay, so they are the legal luminaries of during that time, and that's why they have taken all the legal factors into the constitution. Okay, now drawn from various sources, as I have already told you that the Indian Constitution is derived from various sources. For example, the structural part of the Indian Constitution. The structural part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from the Government of India Act of 1935. Now the philosophical part, like the fundamental rights of the citizen and directive principle of the state policy, they are being taken from the American Constitution and the Irish Constitution. and the political part of the Indian constitution, like the principle of cabinet government and the relationship between executive and legislature. These all things are being derived from the British constitution. Now other provisions were also being taken from different constitution of the world, like that of the Canada, like that of the France, Australia, Germany, USSR, South Africa and Japan. So in my coming video I will tell you in detail what are the provisions which are being taken from these separate constitutions of different part of the world. So one question I would like to ask you all, that is the constitution of India is just a patchwork of other constitution? So this is the question. So I will say no, because the constitution framers, they made necessary modifications and corrections. That means, okay, we have taken some of the provisions from different constitution of the world, but we have not taken it as it is that was given in the constitution of different country. We have modified and corrected those features of the constitution which are suitable for the Indian condition. Okay, that's why we can say that it is not just a patchwork. We have taken it, but we have modified it and also corrected it some of their provisions so that they were suitable for the Indian point of view. Blend of rigidity and flexibility. So rigidity means very tough, or we can say a very which cannot be easily changed, and flexible is something which can be changed easily. So according to that, constitution is divided into two types. The first is the rigid type and another one is the flexible type. So rigid constitution requires a special provision for their amendment. If any kind of amendment has to be done in the constitution, it requires special provisions. For example, the American Constitution. Whereas flexible constitutions are those constitutions which do not require special provision, and any kind of amendment can be done by ordinary law, by passing an ordinary law in the legislature. For example, the British Constitution is like that. So Constitution of India it is the blend of rigid and flexible type of constitution. Just like in Article 368 of our constitution, there are two type of amendments which are given. The first is the special majority of parliament. Those type of amendments which can be passed with special majority. And what does special majority means? It means the majority of total membership of each house, that is more than 50%. Okay. For example, Lok Sabha is having 548 approximately numbers. So more than 50% of that number plus 2/3 of the members of each house present and voting during that time. Okay, so it forms a kind of special majority. And another kind of majority is that which requires the first type of special majority of parliament plus the ratification of half of the total states. Just like recently the GST bill had been enacted and it is being passed by the majority of second kind, which I am telling you, that is the special majority of parliament plus ratification of half of the total states. Okay, now there are some provisions in the constitution, just like if we want to change the name of any state, if we want to change the boundary of any state, okay, such kind of amendments can be done by passing an ordinary law in the parliament to that effect. Okay, and those amendments are not deemed to be amendment under Article 368 of the Constitution. Yes, they are amendment, but they are not under the Article 368. Okay. Notably, some provisions can be amended by a simple majority, as I have told you now. Okay. So those provisions are like changing the name of any state. Okay, like changing the boundary of any state. So those kind of things can be done with simple majority, or we can say amendment which does not require enactment of Article 368. So this is all which I wanted to discuss with you for this particular video. And if you like this video, please do hit the like button, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more such videos on different educational topics. And if you have any kind of doubt or any kind of suggestion which you want to share with me, please post it in the comment section below. And I will reply to you definitely. It is my guarantee. Thank you very much for watching and have an awesome day.